Hey guys, welcome back. I know it has been a long time, but finally got into a place where I feel like I could pick this all back up again. So, I'm not going to bore you with the details of that. I'm going to get right back into it. This week's video is going to be about the fuel pump, gas tank, and fuel lines. And then I'll also go over some of the stuff that I've done. I know it's almost been about a year since the last time I posted. So, without further ado, let's get it going. You see, I now have a gas tank in. It's a 68 Mustang gas tank. I have a universal aftermarket, I guess LS type fuel pump with the pump, return, and vent is what you're looking at. And then I have a universal adjustable sending unit that I still need to figure out how to wire with these 3 wires here using the original wire harness from the 300. As far as the gas tank, that's where I'm at. I just started running the lines. A little update on the subframe. As you can see, I now have brake lines. That's for this passenger rear. That one's for the passenger driver side. I have them going through the frame here. What I'm going to do is clean this up and put like a rubber grommet on both sides. And as far as the subframe, what I did was I used sway bar, in-link, whatever you want to call it. I welded tabs on the subframe and used the original bolt location for the rear struts off of the original rear diff. Caught up since the last time you seen me post a video. Battery's been sitting for too long. I've been charging it for like 2 weeks. It keeps showing that it's charged, but it's dead. And I will show you the fuel line running through the frame rail and up to the front, and I'll show you that. The fender on the passenger side is off for now. This is the old fender well. This is the strut tower from the 300. As you can see, I'm going to cut here and extend it so it meets here. This is where my fender mounts, so all these will stay, and hopefully I'll have enough play. As far as the fuel pressure regulator, it's just like a cheap eBay universal type one. Feed, return, and then the feed into the injector rails. Now that that's there, I think what I need to do next is pull the motor, not necessarily pull it out, but lift it up, see if I can't bolt my long tube headers on, which I'll show you right here. So these are the long tube headers that I bought for the 5.7. As you can see, I have the O2 sensor hooked up, all that, but the starter, where it's at, the frame rail of the truck, and the motor mount kind of make the passenger side almost impossible to put on. So I think I'm going to try to pick up the motor with cherry picker and see if I can't bolt these on, then lower it in. I may have to cut more of the frame away for the header to clear the truck frame. And then if I can lift this up and get those headers on, we'll be golden. Then I can try and actually start it. Now, the subframe for the most part is all squared away. We got brakes, suspension. I boxed in the frame where I cut it. I will box it more, but in the meantime, it's a great start. And again, the frame itself is bolted into the subframe, so that subframe is gonna stiffen my frame from flexing. We are on the gas tank. Like I said, I just got to finish plumbing them up, and then I have to figure out where, how long, and how to adjust it. But I also have the old sending unit hole right underneath this on the bottom that I'm gonna have to weld shut, and then that's obviously the filler. So once I finish, I think actually before I plumb this up, I'm gonna pull the tank out and weld the hole, so I'll show you that. This is the front of the gas tank, and this is where the Mustang's OEM sending and sending unit was from. Now what I got, super thick washer. Obviously I clean it up. Also grind this down, weld that on there, and then to cover that hole, I got this nice little, I don't even know what it's from. Let it go in the center. Once all that's welded up, it'll look decent. It will have no other purpose but to seal this giant hole. And then if you look here, those are the bars that I welded in just to kind of stiffen the middle of the rear subframe to the frame itself, so it's not just focused on the 4 mounts, it's also got some rigid stiffness on each side. Now obviously the most important part about this is just making sure that this is completely sealed. So I think this is thick enough. As long as I weld it right all the way around, should get a good seal. But that's gonna do it for tonight. I will pick this back up tomorrow. Weld that in there, and then get this back into the frame. And finally got a brand new battery, replaced the old one. Still had a 3-year warranty, so I was able to just swap it out. So yeah, let's get this all dressed up. All right, change of plans. Cut a square out because the way that this is gapped, I'm not going to be able to get it to seal. The tank metal is way thinner than this, so I already started to blow through. Obviously I'm not fucking around, this is gas that needs to be sealed properly, so I just cut that out, scrap the whole thing, put a plate over it, weld it, and keep it moving. Alright, so as you can see, got it welded in. Because this stuff is thinner than the plate that I'm using to block it all off, I had to actually do about 3 passes. I know it doesn't look all pretty and shit, I don't care. It'll be under the car, you won't see it anyways. What I will do is do a light test. I'll put a light inside the tank, turn off all the lights outside, see if I see any lights coming through, because then I'll know there's some holes. I'll also grind some of this stuff down, clean it up a little better, and then I will probably fill it with water just to see if it leaks anywhere. If I ain't got no leaks, I will probably throw maybe some JB Weld or some silicone around it or something just to protect it in even more. But then I have this hole, so you can actually see where I welded right there. Maybe I'll clean the inside up a little bit too. But for the most part, I think that'll be fine. I think it should hold. And we'll keep going from there. Let's clean this up a little bit. Alright, so I got it all welded up, grinded down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with water. As you can see, it is completely dry. If I have any wet spots, I will know it's leaking. So I'm going to fill it up with water until it's to the top. See if I get any leaks. Now you can see I'm up to the bolts for the fuel pump. And see all that water? Yeah, it's not sealed. So back to plan A. There we have it. Free of leaks. What I used was some powder type 2-part epoxy. It's fuel safe, so we'll see. But now I'm gonna throw this in the truck. Started running the fuel lines. So what I did was I went with AN10 connectors. Those will connect into the fuel pump. So right now what I'm trying to do is figure out the wiring for the sending unit. Mounted this bar here, welded nuts to the bottom. Now that I think about it, when it's all said and done, I'll probably flip it so I could drop the gas tank without having to remove the bed. And then as far as the bumper, I'm leaving it. I know it's a pretty heavy bumper, but with the amount of horsepower I plan on getting out of this truck, weight in the back is not such a bad thing, especially with trucks. You know, a lot of people put sandbags over the axles to keep the weight down so you don't get so much wheel hop. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the back. And again, I know it's super messy, but you'll have to bear with me. Next, what I have to do is I went and got a bolt head connector so I can run it through the firewall, be able to disconnect and connect it as I need. So there's still a couple wires on the inside that I have to solder together with the rest of the harness. Here you can see I have my fuel pressure regulator. It's already ran into the motor, return, and the feed run all the way down and back. So with that being said, I'll try to figure out that, solder those wires up, get that tank in. All the wires that I extended ran through the cab to the fuel pump. Finished wiring up those wires you can see right there. When I turn the key, you can hear the pump come on. So now I know the fuel pump is working. I don't have the gas light, so I still need to figure out how to get this to actually register my gas levels. But now it's time to, I think for now what I'm going to do is just put the fuel pump in and bolt it up because that's ready to go. And then that'll be bolted in for the last time. Alright, so now that I've got the gas tank bolted in, wired up for the most part, I'm still gonna wait on the sending unit that I got. I think I'm gonna try to figure out a better one, but that's what those 3 wires are for, the sending unit. Now that that is in, I think I'm going to call it on this video. Next video should be me either dropping the motor to put the headers on or picking it up. But as you can see, now the fuel pump is wired up, ready to go, and next will be the headers. So like I said, I know it's been a while, guys, but we're getting back into it. So make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what I can use for a sending unit. Alrighty, y'all.